Whether you're designing an extension or just trying to work out whether you can squeeze a shed down the sideway, all of your designs should be based on a scale drawing, and that comes from what we in the industry call a survey, and that's exactly what I'm carrying out today. A survey, or land survey to be more accurate, is a way of gathering information and dimensions enough to make a scale drawing of a property or land accurately. Although accuracy means different things to different people. If you want that to within maybe 1 or 2 millimeters, you're going to have to hire a land surveyor. They'll come in with GPS enabled total stations and all the equipment and tell you exactly where everything is and where it is around the world. Or similarly, you could get a laser survey done, which would probably be a little bit quicker, tell you every nook and cranny, probably cost you a bit more. But us DIYers don't need that level of accuracy. We don't want the cost either, and we definitely don't need to be told where we are in the world. But what you do need to do if you're doing a survey is to have some sort of baseline. Now that could be a road or a fence, or use something like I am today, which is my house. So the first thing I'm going to have to do is measure all the ins and outs of my house accurately, and then any surveying I do is relative to this. I have a number of projects I'm thinking about and planning around the house and garden at the moment, so doing this once properly will help me for some time to come. Accuracy wise, I'm aiming for plus or minus 20 to 25 millimeters, about an inch I would say. I think this is accurate enough for most of the planning I'm going to do, but also easy enough to take dimensions quickly and to sketch things out. If I need anything more accurate than that, I'm going to have to revisit that part again, although I can't see that happening, to be honest. I'm not taking any vertical measurements on the house like I would if I was planning, say, an extension for instance. There's just no need for me to do this at the moment. Taking these measurements on my property is easy because everything is at right angles to each other, so to measure for the house outline is pretty straightforward. While I'm here doing this, I may as well also map out the sandstone paving around the perimeter, as this is something that I may be working on in the future. And although it's not raining and the sun is sort of coming out between the clouds, the wind really just isn't helping much. Go on, straighten, straighten. God damn. I picked a nice windy day for it anyway. With the house measured up, I can start looking at the position of other things like my back fence, which isn't actually square to the house. So to get the position, I need a measurement along a fixed line, which I've decided is going to be this wall of my kitchen. So I set up a string line touching the wall, and then extend it beyond the end of the wall into the garden, right up to the fence line. I can then move it side to side until I can see it just touches the wall. Then I know that I'm in line with it and I can fix the position. When I now measure from the house, I have an accurate known line that I'm measuring along, and I can plot this on my drawing. Projecting these types of lines out from the house along different walls in different directions, together with the distances, gives me all the information I need to fix the boundaries accurately. So now I've got some measurements in my little black book, I can start doing some sketching. And the more information I get, the more I can populate this drawing. Now it's probably not a bad idea if you've got a proprietary software package to do this on the PC. That way you can zoom into whatever section you want to, you can turn it around, manipulate it, and all those sort of things forever more. Failing that, you can always use Excel. Just make sure that each cell is exactly a square, and essentially you can use it like graph paper. Or if you're old-fashioned like me, you can use graph paper and a pencil. Today, I'm actually going to be using plain paper because that way I think I can show you a few things a little bit clearer. But I wouldn't necessarily advise plain paper. I'll probably go for graph paper unless you're going to use a software package. So the first thing I need to do is, I think, draw out the house. Here I'm using a small A3 drawing board that I've had for some time that just speeds up any horizontal and vertical lines I need to draw. I first choose a suitable scale to get everything that I want to onto the page without it being too small. Then sketch out the house using the dimensions I've taken in pencil, then overwrite them in pen. When most of the lines are square to each other like this, it doesn't take long to start getting the main plan together. To place the fence on the right hand side on the drawing, which is set at a strange angle to the house, I measure from a known point or corner perpendicular to the fence. I know that it's perpendicular as this would be the smallest measurement between them. I do this in two places, which fixes the line of the fence. 4.7, this one, 5.2. 4.7. Using the other dimensions I've taken that are perpendicular to the various walls of the house, I can also fix the position of the boundaries to within an inch or so. I also plot out the workshop and the hedging around the garden and then just tidy the drawing up. While you're doing a survey like this, if you need to pinpoint a somewhat random item that doesn't line up with anything particularly, like my manhole cover here, then triangulation is the best way to go. I take a measurement from a known point and plot this out on the sketch, and then another at approximately 90 degrees from the first, and then where they meet gives you a nice accurate position. It's important for me to plot this manhole cover because I'm going to be completely changing this side of the garden, but the manhole is always going to be there, so I'm going to have to design around it. After making a note of the all-important scale I've used on this sketch, I now have an accurate drawing to scale that I can use for my planning. The other part of the survey I'm doing today is to do with levels, so I break out my rotary laser level and set it up. I found this to be an excellent piece of kit and perfect if you're building an extension or landscaping, and at less than £300, completely affordable if you're doing that type of work. It's self-leveling once you get it to within a few degrees, and it's got a range far more than you'll ever need. I run out the 30-metre tape in line with the edge of my kitchen, which I just line in by eye, moving backwards and forwards, so I know approximately where I am in the world to a few inches. With the laser level, I first take what's called a backsight. That's taking a level on the corner of a slab that I know that isn't going to move, and something that I can go back to and recreate in the future. So all of my levels today will essentially be relative to this point. The reading I have here is essentially how high the base unit of the laser level is above this paving slab. All my subsequent readings will then tell me how low the ground is below the base unit of the laser level, so I can then relate all the levels I take back to this point. With everything set up, I take my levels at the 5 metre points along 4 rows coming out from the back of my house all the way into the paddock. To plot these, I'm going to draw a cross section so I can see what's happening to the ground as I travel away from the house and into the paddock. I first mark out the 5 metre positions and then decide to use an exaggerated scale so I can see what's happening. That's 1 to 100 horizontally, but 1 to 10 vertically. Using an exaggerated scale like this is quite normal for long sections, because it exaggerates the up and downs, which helps show you what the ground is doing. So it looks like I've got a low point of about 350 millimeters, around 15 to 18 meters away from the house. This is only one long section of the 4 that I took outside into the paddock. So I've still got a little bit of work to do on the other 3, but it does give me a little bit of an idea of what's happening out there, as one of my future projects is a bit of ground levelling in that area. So I hope that gives you a little bit of an idea of how to survey your property and some tips that maybe you can use in the future. So I will see you next time.